Well, the Washington Nationals have announced their opening day starter. And guys, are you feeling a little sense of optimism for this starting pitcher? Not for me. I'm going to name four better starting options for the Washington Nationals. But first, we're going to have to react to some news.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first pitch purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And thank you guys for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And if it's your first time tuning in, thank you again for tuning in. My name is Ryan Clary. I have taken my passion for this team into podcast form here with the Locked On Podcast Network, where you get your team every single day. And that is exactly what we will be getting into today. As you guys know, Patrick Corbin has been named the opening day starter for the second straight year in a row. Last year, it was kind of like, okay, what's the better option at that point than Patrick Corbin? Maybe he will bounce back. Maybe he won't. But fast forward to this year, 2023, there is zero optimism for Patrick Corbin. And opening day is all about optimism. It's a day where, number one, baseball is back. And even for the bad teams, there's a sense of optimism in the air. What if Victor Robles bounces back? What if C.J. Abrams is the next Trey Turner? What if this team isn't even that bad after all? You know, there's an argument to be had there. We have young pieces in all facets of, the game, when pitching at the plate and even in the bullpen is better than last year, in my opinion. But as we know now, Patrick Corbin will be getting the opening day nod, and that has made me throw all those optimistic thoughts away. We've seen this before. 3 years in running now, Corbin has gotten shelled by almost every opponent, and that sucks because of what opening day is about. There is no optimism with Patrick Corbin anymore. The optimism we have with him is maybe he won't be the worst pitcher in all of baseball, maybe the NL. Maybe he can just be a below average starting pitcher. That's not what opening day is about. In fact, especially with a rebuilding team, that is certainly not what this season is about. Show the fans what we want to see, what you and I want to see. And we all know what we want to see that we'll be getting into later in the show. And that is the future. With a rebuilding team, is Patrick Corbin the future for this club? Probably not. He doesn't fit in my equation to be a part of this roster going forward. He's got another year after this on his contract. That's probably when I expect him to bounce town. He's not going to be coming back with the Washington Nationals. So what is it? What are we doing? What created this decision to where we get with Patrick Corbin coming to start opening day, when all opening day is about is, number one, baseball is back in town, and number two, there's a sense of optimism. But that's not what we are getting at this moment. It's opening day, man. We can't do this dog and pony show again, rolling out the veterans and saying that he was a World Series champion. We get it. I love Patrick Corbin. But he is a Washington Nationals legend. But that doesn't mean you should be starting opening day. And with a fresh coat of paint on opening day, the ceremony, everything about opening day is about optimism. It's about embarking on a new season with a fresh coat of paint. And we're getting robbed of that with throwing Patrick Corbin out there on opening day. And now some people may think, well, Ryan, why are you so up in arms about this? You've been talking about this offseason and how it's not going to be the best season for the Nationals if we're talking about winning games. And you're right. You're absolutely right. But also, the Nationals realize that too. They realize that this is not the best roster that they've put together. Although it's a lot better than last year, I will say, and I'll stand on that hill. But this isn't the way to go about it. Opening day to some people may just be another game. But to you and I, the diehard baseball fans out there, it's about all the things that I've listed above. Optimism. For a rebuilding team, it's about the new future. And what is Patrick Corbin's fit into the future here? There's nothing. Because there's a real point to where he could be bought out this offseason. They could reach a buyout. Anything like that. Patrick Corbin, again, I'll say it, is a legend. You can't just be throwing him out there just to throw him out there. Just because he does mean a lot to this organization, which he does. I'll say that again and again until the day I die. Patrick Corbin's contract back in 2019, I would sign that again 100 times out of 100. He won the World Series, and he was a huge part. You could even say he was a top 3 figure for that Washington Nationals team that won it all. You could make that argument. But now, most importantly, in this rebuilding time, that's when the Nationals need to hone in on what they want to be. What do you want to be, Washington Nationals? What do they want to be? Well, they want to be a young, exciting team. And honestly, it just doesn't even seem fair to the fans or even to Patrick Corbin itself and even the other 4 guys in that rotation that would be better off starting. And again, I'll make those arguments for 4 guys on this roster right now who are better deserving than Patrick Corbin to start off on opening day. But guys, it just doesn't feel right to me that Patrick Corbin will be the starting pitcher on opening day to embark on this brand new season. It's not going to ruin my day. I know what opening day is about. It's about baseball being back. Obviously, it doesn't matter how bad your team is. It's baseball. I'm going to watch. I'll be there, most importantly. And it'll be a fun time no matter what. But then again, since 2021, Patrick Corbin has gone 15-35 with a 6.05 ERA. He's led them in Major League Baseball in losses in 2021 and in 2022. And most importantly, I'm just going to take a U-turn here. Here's this all-star on the Washington Nationals last year in the fielding position that you just don't even know about. He was a .320 batting average guy, .513 slug percentage, and an .887 OPS. You might say, well, Ryan, who was that Washington Nationals player? It wasn't. Those are the lines against Patrick Corbin from just last year. And I can't stress this enough. That is an all-star player. Not only is he an all-star player, that is an MVP candidate. Not only is he an MVP candidate, he's a top 10 hitter in all of baseball. A .320 batting average would have ranked 3rd across Major League Baseball in 2022. His slugging percentage, .513, would have ranked 13th across Major League Baseball. And then the OPS, which was at .887, would have ranked 8th in Major League Baseball. Guys, this Patrick Corbin experiment, it's over with. I understand the respect that you give Patrick Corbin. We should all give him the respect for what he did in 2019. But also, you got to call a spade a spade. And there is no way in hell that you can convince us that Patrick Corbin is the guy to go for on this opening day. We're not competing for championships this year, let alone a division title, let alone a postseason spot. So what is the point in rolling out Patrick Corbin? To me, there's none. I can't even make an argument for it. What argument is there even to be had except the fact that he is a legend in the organization? Which may just be that argument. And that just might be it. And if I lose that battle, I lose it. But I'm not trotting out Patrick Corbin there. You can't. You can't convince this fan base that that is the right thing to do. And I'm here to tell you, it is not the right thing to do. But let alone, that was the decision that they have come with. And I guess that's what we're going to be doing. Because not even to mention, do we even have to talk about his WAR from last year? He had a negative 2.5 WAR, wins above replacement. That is awful. That is really bad. Victor Robles had a higher WAR than that. And we like to talk about him and how he's been disappointing. Also, Victor Robles is in the same conversation as Patrick Corbin. Both organizationally speaking, legends in the organization. They are key parts of that 2019 team. I salute them for their services, but Patrick Corbin starting on opening day, that is certainly not for me. So now, you may ask, well, Ryan, what are the better options? Well, I have 4 for you. 4. Right here, right now. That's what we're going to get to. But before we get into that, I got to tell you guys about my new friends over at Game Time. And guys, just 2 weeks ago, I was trying to go to a Capitals game, but I just didn't really have what it took. At least I thought that. But then I checked out over on Game Time, and buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be as stressful as others. That's why Game Time is here to help you, just like they have helped me. And here's my thing. You get flash deals and last-minute tickets, which only take 2 clicks. It's easy to find and buy tickets for any kind of event in your area. You get images of your seats, so you get to see what angle you're in. Is there anything blocking you? Is the foul pole blocking you? Game Time has you covered with those images. And forget planning months in advance, guys. It takes 2 clicks to do what Game Time can do. That is unlike any app in the ticket industry, and that is why we love Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Locked On MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Also, before we move on, I got to tell you guys about my friends at FanDuel. And the tournament is heating up, and there is no better place to get on in the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because that's right. Because right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's up to $1,000 in bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and sign up today to claim your no-sweat first bet. Then you can wager on everything from the money line to point spreads to which team will be cutting down the net, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So don't miss your shot at a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Locked On. And now we get into the 4 better options for the Washington Nationals on opening day. As you already know, Patrick Corbin will be the opening day starter. And again, it's baseball back. I'll be fine with that. But there are 4 better options on this roster, and people do need to understand that. Let's start off with Josiah Gray. Josiah Gray, someone that we got in return for the Max Scherzer Trey Turner deal. Josiah Gray has been lights out this postseason, this spring training. In spring training, he has been the Nationals' best starting pitcher by far. He's got a 0.73 ERA, 4 starts, 12 innings, and 11 strikeouts with a 105 whip. And guys, Josiah Gray, I talked about a month ago, I would go with Mackenzie Gore at that time. Mackenzie Gore, I still think, will be the Nationals' best starting pitcher this year. But from what we've seen from Josiah Gray down in spring training, and again, only being at the ripe age of what, 26, 25? I think the time is now for Josiah Gray. In giving him the ball, someone who is young, someone who will be with this organization for the next couple of years. That is the time to give the kid a chance. Give him a confidence boost. This is your time, man. Josiah Gray, this is your rotation. Cade Cavalli is going to be out for the year. Mackenzie Gore has had some issues in the past. It's time for you, man. This is year 2 of a full season in the major leagues. We want to give you the ball. Give him some confidence. This is what should be the decision moving forward. It should be Josiah Gray. And that's not to say that Mackenzie Gore or Trevor Williams or name that starter on this roster should be bypassed by Josiah Gray. But then again, if we are talking about results, who has produced better results so far down in spring training than Josiah Gray? In fact, if you're taking one player off this roster and talking about how he improved and how he has actually handled the whole situation down in spring training, Josiah Gray has probably been the most improved player just from last year going into this spring. And again, it's only 12 innings pitched, but don't you reward guys for their success the way that we still do with Patrick Corbin in 2019, giving him the rock on opening day? So I would go with Josiah Gray as my opening day starter. I wouldn't even look back because it's not even a close decision in my mind. Not even close, in fact. So not only is there Josiah Gray, I kind of led the witness here for the second guy, and that's Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie Gore, as we talked about last year, you could have made the argument that he was going to be the ace for the San Diego Padres at one point last year, the way he started out. He was the number 1 pitching prospect in baseball at one point as well. And then looking even further into it, he had some elbow issues. He got rocked around, got traded to the Nationals from the West Coast to the East Coast. And then he was shut down for the rest of the year. You know who might need a little confidence boost in them? Is Mackenzie Gore. Because you cannot make the argument that Mackenzie Gore is the worst left-handed starting pitcher on this roster. It's Patrick Corbin. There's only 2 of them. And I can tell you it's Patrick Corbin because there's been no worse pitcher in baseball the last 2 years. Mackenzie Gore falls along the same lines as Josiah Gray. Confidence. Opening day. Give him the ball. Let him do what he can do. Because besides, he was our highest ranking prospect when the Nationals got him. Now, he did have that prospect status lifted. But also, guys, he was a top 10 prospect in baseball. And in fact, if you look even further back at his time with the Padres, I mean, people were calling him one of the better left-handed pitching prospects out of high school. This is a legit prospect. That is an opening day starter. Someone who has been garnered as the guy in an organization. He was the prospect for the Padres. The marquee guy, minus Fernando Tatis Jr. So it just doesn't really make sense that they're not going with these young guys in a rebuilding year. Because I don't know about you guys, I want the younger guys. And if Cade Cavalli was healthy, guess what? There'd be 5 pitchers. Not 4, 5 that I can name better than Patrick Corbin at this point. And that is kind of a harsh reality to even think of. Because Patrick Corbin used to be it, but it's just not that anymore. So Mackenzie Gore, Josiah Gray, those are my top 2 options. Josiah Gray being first, Mackenzie Gore being second. I would give it to Josiah Gray this second if it was up to me. Third, Trevor Williams. I've talked about Trevor Williams. I've said that I don't really believe in what he can do as a starting pitcher. I believe what he can do out of the bullpen as an opener or someone to come in as a fireman. But that's not what Trevor Williams is. But here's what I can tell you what he is better than that. He's a better pitcher than Patrick Corbin. It's just as simple as that. Trevor Williams last year with the Mets hovered around a 3.2 ERA. And yes, it was a different role than just starting games as the way that Patrick Corbin has done over the years. He did multiple different things. But even then, he was a better pitcher. And it wasn't close. So I don't understand how members of the organization could even stand up at the podium and say that Patrick Corbin is better than these 3 guys. Because that's just not the case at all. Trevor Williams, and yes, I have been hard on Trevor Williams and the signing and the optimism that some people have for him. I'm not that optimistic about him. But even then, there's a much better case to have Trevor Williams out there on opening day than Patrick Corbin. Fourth, Thaddeus Ward. And some of you may be scratching your head being, he's a bullpen guy, Ryan. What are you doing? Well, he was developed as a starting pitcher with the Boston Red Sox. And in fact, when we drafted him, I thought we were going to utilize him as a starting pitcher because that's what he's been developed as. And in fact, he's been damn good at it. So now, what are we going to be doing here with Patrick Corbin and Thaddeus Ward, Trevor Williams, Mackenzie Gore, Josiah Gray? Hell, Chad Kuhl is in that mix as well, if you want to make that argument. But even then, I don't even think he should be on this starting rotation when you have guys like Thaddeus Ward, who I think could be an effective starting pitcher in the bigs. But nope, we're going to be getting Patrick Corbin, and you better like it. So that is where this Nationals team is headed so far. But then again, I just don't really know what the hell we will be doing moving forward. But guys, I've told you about Game Time. I've told you about my friends over at FanDuel. But now I got to tell you guys about Ultimate Baseball GM. And guys, I'm geeked out to tell you about our new partner and sponsor of today's episode, the mobile game Ultimate Baseball GM. Have you ever dreamed of becoming an MLB GM and managing your professional baseball franchise? Well, your dream has come true, and this game is definitely for you. Manage every strategic aspect of your team and play through the season and lead your team to glory. This is what you're responsible for. Hiring the right pitching coaches and staff, all that fun stuff that Mike Rizzo of the Washington Nationals gets to do on a daily basis, every single offseason, all these free agent signings. You get to do that as well. And also, Locked On MLB hosts, we're in a little competition, a friendly competition right now, and your boy's not doing too hot. So I might be on the hot seat. I might be getting canned, but I'm going to savor this time because I love running my own team. And Locked On Nationals listeners get 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo Locked On in the game store. So make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit probaseballgm.com, scan the code, or look it up on the app stores. That's probaseballgm.com. Ultimate Baseball GM. Start your dynasty today. And so to wrap up today's show, Patrick Corbin, this is no knock on him for today's show. Because let me reiterate my thoughts on Corbin. Corbin is a legend. Corbin could even have his number 46 retired with the Nationals someday. Back in 2020, I bought a game-used jersey of Patrick Corbin because I wanted something to replicate 2019. I wanted a piece. I wanted just a small piece to that puzzle. A game-used Patrick Corbin jersey. I bought that. I won't even get into how much I spent. It was way too much money. But then again, it makes me happy. It reminds me of what was, not only with Patrick Corbin, but with that 2019 Washington Nationals squad. So today, I don't want people to be carried away by what this was, because this wasn't some anti-Patrick Corbin show. I love Patrick Corbin. Patrick Corbin, again, franchise legend. He's not up there with Steven Strasburg or Max Scherzer or Bryce Harper. Actually, I'll even say he's above Bryce Harper. I would even go that route. That's how valuable he was to that 2019 team. And yes, some people might say that's ridiculous to put him over Bryce Harper. But Bryce Harper didn't get the job done here. And it wasn't all because of him. He certainly played a huge role into why those Nationals teams were so good. But also at the end of the day, Patrick Corbin is just not an opening day starter in 2023. Hell, even if last year, if we're going to count last year, he should not have been a starting opening day starter. Should I say starter more, by the way? But geez, guys. Patrick Corbin, We just can't take it anymore. I've read this book before. It's on the same chapter as 2022, and guess what? I'm sick of it. Let's go with the young guys. Let's go with someone that we can actually buy a jersey for moving forward. Josiah Gray, Mackenzie Gore, hell, Chad Kuhl. That's what this season is about. It's not about the past. It's not about throwing out a World Series champion. It's about the future. It's time to flip the page and move on with our lives. That's why we want to see the future. We don't want to see the past. We've already lived that past. In fact, seeing the past in this way is way worse than just remembering what it was. Because watching Patrick Corbin out there, I see he's starting on the MLB.com app, and I'm like, hell yeah, Patrick Corbin, 2019 legend. But 2023, whatever is the opposite of a legend is what that is. So thank you guys for making Locked On Nationals your first listen. Now for your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Win your league by listening to Matt and Dom every day as they bring you the best fantasy draft strategies. Find Locked On Fantasy Baseball wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network where you get your team every single day. And guys, again, thank you for sticking around for Locked On Nationals. If you caught the full thing, let me know what you think down in the YouTube comment sections. You can follow me over on Twitter at RyanClary11. You can also follow the show page at LO_Nationals. And guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to Locked On Nationals over on YouTube as we embark on a new season for this Nationals team. And I will be the spot where you get all your Nationals content, as I will keep you up to date on the 162 game marathon every single day. So guys, go Nats. Opening day is just around the corner.